This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
So Dominique has been texting me topics that I should ask as the host of a sports show. Topics that involve the Luka Doncic trade, LeBron James, how difficult it is to make trades when you have a reputation for being bad at making trades. And to that I say, welcome Ron Magill.
Ron, I have no answers for any of those questions, brother.
Well, we have you on for a far more important reason. It's me, Amin, David Samson, Jess, Jeremy, and Chris.
What is David doing?
Okay. We brought in the All-Stars.
That's right. In no way is this a backup, second string, substitute teacher scenario. This is definitely the first stringers.
There you go.
Ron, where are you right now?
I'm in a temporary office situation that we have here. We had a little bit of mold and asbestos in our administration building, so they had to mitigate the situation, so to speak. So we were exiled, and thankfully the Zoo Miami Foundation has been very generous and put me here in a corner of the building where sometimes it gets a little loud, but it's a nice alternative. Let's leave it at that. And
for those of you who are not watching on the Dan Le Batard and Friends Network, Ron does not have enough wall space. It is quite clear from the shot that there are pieces of art that are strewn on the floor, leaning against curtains, which you shouldn't do with art, maybe against a fireplace, Ron. I'm very concerned.
Thank you, David, for throwing me under the bus. Listen, I'm very appreciative that I at least have this room. I could have been outside on the grass under the rain, so I'm happy.
Ron also looks like somebody who has just thrown Amin Elhassan out of the club.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Way too tall.
I had a breakfast that I attended with the mayor this morning. So.
Whoa!
No, it wasn't just me and the mayor. It was me and a lot of people and the mayor. But it was just one of those breakfasts. You know, I try to be respectful when I attend those power breakfasts, so to speak.
Billy Corbin there too? No? Okay.
Ron, I feel like respect would have been one more button higher to the chain. Maybe just
Ron
one
looks
more.
great.
I'm saying the mayor. The mayor. For senator,
No,
you
I
wear
want
a
the
tie.
chain. You just made Ron Magill cover up the chain.
No, he's not with the mayor anymore. He's with us. That's
you should
why
be
it was
unbuttoning buttons.
I agree.
With us.
That's how to look when you're doing Dan's show.
Ron, we summoned you for an actual pressing concern, which is that Amin Elhassan and I stay at this lovely building, the Elser Hotel. We stay near the top floors in the 40s, and we have.
I know what it is already.
We've encountered some vultures.
That's right.
Can you explain what we've been encountering, please?
Yep, that's the official start of really winter in South Florida, and that's telling you how late it's coming. Generally speaking, it was always judged by the turkey vultures that come to the courthouse. These vultures all come down here for the winter. They're coming up from up north. They migrate down, and they look for high buildings to perch on. There was a big issue at the courthouse for a long time because they, released a lot of fecal excrement that kind of stained the windows and made the courthouse look like a snow-covered mountain there for a little while. But this is a cyclical thing that happens every year in South Florida. Originally, like I said, was the label of the start of winter in Florida is when you see all these vultures. People who go down to, for instance, Everglades National Park, there's a huge problem. What the hell is Samson doing? Picking his teeth?
I know, it's really not great.
Jesus Christmas.
What do you... That's a video issue.
Talk about my cluttered office, and you're picking crap out of your teeth in front of me.
That's an outrage. Whatever just happened.
Anyway,
sorry, Ron.
Back to the vultures. They will go down, for instance, if you go to Everglades National Park during the winter and you park your car, let's say, down at Anhinga Trail, you'll see a bunch of tarps that the National Park Service provides for you to cover your car. Please use them because the vultures down there will literally strip your windshield wipers off and then strip the rubber seal all around your windshield and windows on the vehicle. Nobody knows why they do it. It seems like it's part of practice for them, kind of like stripping hard skin off of dead animals to start their feeding. But it's a big problem that the National Park Service has been facing now for several years. So these vultures, they become quite bold. They can be a little bit destructive, though they play a very important role. Let's face the facts. They take away these decaying dead animals that can spread a lot of disease. They have a couple of gross habits. I mean, one of the grossest habits that vultures have is to cool themselves off. They literally poop all over their legs. So then they crap on their legs, and as it evaporates, it cools them off. That's part of the way to cool them off. Another really kind of unfortunate habit that they have is if you corner them, instead of trying to peck you, what they do is they projectile vomit to you, like an exorcist type thing where it just comes out.
Smart.
And, vomit by itself is already bad, but vomit of decaying dead animals that they have been eating, that'll make you an instant gag reflex.
Their stomach acid is a little stronger than ours, right? Because they eat so many, things that have been decaying and dead, right?
They have a lot of natural tolerance, natural resistance to all the bacteria and infective elements that are found in dead and decaying animals. So, but they pay a very important service to us. I mean, I don't want to go out there and have to pick up that raccoon off the road. If the vulture's going to eat it, it's a win-win.
But do you have to be dead or decaying, or is there a risk if I go on the balcony that the vulture will just take me?
No, it'll never take you, David. They don't want anything to do with anybody live. They will fly away. You won't be able to even get close to them. They're up on that balcony on the top floors there because that's where they're safe from any predators on the ground, cats, dogs, or anything like that. So that's a natural instinct. Plus, also, they really don't fly well until they get the thermals.
Yeah, they're gliding, Ron. I see them glide.
That's right. They glide. As a matter of fact, just recently, something happened that is a phenomenon that doesn't happen all the time, but it has happened in the past, where they just rescued like 40 vultures out of the ocean, out of the bay, because they were flying and using the thermals, and then there was a big temperature change. All of a sudden came in the front, the thermal disappeared, and all the vultures literally plummeted to the ocean. And once they hit the water, they couldn't get out of the water again. Several of them drowned, several of them were saved. But this is a phenomenon that happens rarely, but it is an incredible phenomenon when all of a sudden all these vultures just fall out of the sky.
Ron, what do you think? You're a man of science. I remember you with the Eagles. You had a camera up there to capture all the important things that we could learn. What do you think about us putting a camera outside of Pablo's balcony, putting a little chum out there, and just seeing what happens, seeing if they'll come and bite?
Well, the fact of the matter is it's illegal to purposely feed wild animals.
Well,
so that would not be a legal thing for you to do, to bait vultures with something out there.
There you go.
Now, hypothetically, purely hypothetically,
I just forgot the raw meat
if a raccoon happened to die on the 36th floor of wherever you're staying and was on the ledge, heck, I think putting a camera there would be cool as heck.
I just left this raw meat out on the balcony. I forgot it out there.
But hold on. There's a lot that I'm processing here. So the vulture, just to get back to where they came from and why they're here. So these turkey vultures, the fact that they're turkey vultures, is that right? Am I saying it or no?
They're turkey vultures. There's also
beef
the black-headed vultures too. There's two species that we find down here: the black-headed vultures and the turkey vultures.
Okay.
Initially it was just turkey vultures, but now we're seeing a lot more of the black-headed vultures. And where you see them most is if you drive down the turnpike and you drive some of these landfills, the dumps, you'll see them like by the hundreds flying over the dumps looking for food.
Right. So let's just say hypothetically, if we were to put some garbage and raccoon carcasses on our balcony, if we were, in fact, can we bring Ethan in here?
Ethan, get in here.
I want to just run an experiment.
What is the filet mignon of these trash mountains for them? Like, what do they find where they're like, nothing beats this?
Great question.
Oh man, I guess people who throw out rotten food from their refrigerator, that spoiled. That's the ultimate buffet for these vultures. The worse it smells, the more rotten it smells, the more delicious it is for them. And also, understand when meat rots, it becomes much more tender, so it's easy for them to eat.
Ron, I've never imagined birds having a sense of smell. Where do these, where are the olfactory?
Oh, if you look at a vulture's bill, you'll see they have a very large nasal opening that actually can go all the way through. So their sense of smell is phenomenal. Having said that, they also depend on each other, because once a vulture has pretty decent eyesight, they see a bunch of vultures circling over a certain area. They go, hey, something happened over there. We got to get over there. So that's when you see them all start congregating and circling.
Yes, like a crowd outside of a club during Super Bowl week, the vultures have been circling my balcony. And on that balcony, I would like to put David, Samson, and Ethan, who's here. Say hi, Ethan.
David, stand up next to him for context.
So
look
Ron,
at those nasal openings, guys.
Yeah, look at those things.
So between the two of them, if we were to slather both of them in maybe meat juice or raccoon carcass, who would the vulture be more likely to take away?
David's on his tippy toes.
Listen, I'm gonna go not with David, but what's the Ethan? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Ethan.
I'm gonna go with Ethan. He's got less facial hair. There's less obstruction to go through. Ethan kind of looks a little bit like a young David Cassidy. Doesn't he?
Young David.
Ron
Cassidy.
called you a young David Cassidy.
I think he does a little bit like a young David Cassidy.
Ron,
he doesn't know who the hell that
Ron,
is.
stop.
He has no idea who
Ron,
David Cassidy is.
He didn't know who David Cassidy was.
Okay, yeah, I figured he's too young, but he looks like
It's a compliment. That's a hell of a compliment.
David Cassidy,
David Cassidy's a good-looking guy.
for.
He did just
I mean,
have a
he's dead
birthday
now, but he
yesterday.
was a good-looking guy.
Happy birthday,
dead.
Ethan, by the way.
Oh, I thought you meant David Cassidy.
He's not that young anymore. Am I right?
Ron, I got a question for you. You often talk about how animals, when they're around places with humans, they begin to learn certain habits, like, oh, this is where we can find food because the humans leave them here.
Come on. Excuse me, but look at that picture. Doesn't that look a little bit like him?
Not really.
I see it. No, I see it. Ron has
Eyes. It's in the eyes.
cheekbones.
Yeah.
It's in the cheekbones.
I was gonna say smile.
Them cheeks.
Those pukas were so big.
I had those pukas. I had those very same pukas, man.
So Ron, the animals pick up on like human behavior, activity, and adjust accordingly to their lifestyle. Why is it birds keep flying into windows?
Well,
don't they ever learn? Aren't there any rumors through the bird world? Like, hey guys,
You hear what happened to Steve?
Yeah.
Understand they're flying into windows because they don't realize the window's there. What they're seeing is a reflection of the habitat behind them. So they just think it's continuing. And they think it's another bird in front of them until it gets too close where they can't stop.
There's another bird here, but I'm not stopping.
I'm catching up to him. I'm catching. Oh, gee, it's over. Okay.
And in the Vulture's defense, Mina Kimes walked into a glass door at Dan's wedding. For similar
That's
reasons.
a good point, man. That is a good point. That's a good point. But the bottom line is, the window situation is because the window is reflecting the sky behind them, and they think the sky is continuing, and it's not until it's too late, and that's why they hit the windows.
But we should be glad that the Vultures are here, is what you're saying. We should be embracing them as much as they might projectile vomit the remains of,
They would
roadkill.
only do that if you tried to grab it, if you tried to bother. It's a matter of self-defense. They don't do it like, oh, this is my everyday thing. Let me just projectile vomit on your car for no reason at all. No, that's not what they do. Vultures are actually pretty clean animals, believe it or not. And the role that they play is so important, man. I cannot tell you, the diseases they prevent from spreading just by what they do.
Ron, I've been waiting for this moment, and I'm going to ask you the most important question because it's a Bubameister, I think. The white that we see on the balcony from the Vultures or bird poop that gets in your hair or on your clothes, I thought it was urine, not poop.
You're right. It's uric acid. It's the bird's form of urine. The white is the uric acid. Birds don't produce a fluid urine. Same with reptiles. If you see an iguana poop, you'll see this big clump of brown, which is the fecal material, and it's surrounded by some white spots. That's the uric acid material. So that's the urine phase of things like birds and reptiles. So you're very smart in that.
So when people say,
you gotta light
I
up
just
the
had
guy's
bird
face.
shit.
I can't see Ethan's face. If you light up his face,
Take your hat off, Ethan.
Put it side by side.
Either take the hat off.
Take the hat off. Come on, man.
Hey,
come on, man.
The nose.
There you go. He's got it all going on. That's David Cassidy.
Ron nailed this.
And usually Ethan has puka shells on. Today he doesn't, but usually he does.
And he's got the hair thing going for him too. He could feather that hair out.
Special dude out there. Special dude.
Ethan, brother. Let me tell you, back in his day, David Cassidy was.
There was no one bigger.
He could hit big.
Look how cute Ethan is. I'm hitting this thing for him.
Happy birthday
Look at him.
to him. I don't care. Good luck.
That's the guy that edits our audio every day, him and Jeremy.
Our handsome
Good job,
little
Ethan.
man.
Yeah.
Good job.
There you go.
A remarkable
I think
thing.
Stugotz and Dan should stay away for a while. You guys are pretty good.
Thank you.
You know
Oh,
what?
them?
Yeah,
Many such cases.
You're right.
Think about what Ron
For
just
us.
said.
That's a compliment. I mean, a compliment truly from
Ron Magill, of course. I'm super despondent that Ethan doesn't know who David Cassidy is because he doesn't understand the level of compliments.
Ron, David was telling us a 10-minute story about Alan Alda before. And now we've moved to David Cassidy. So thank you for actually.
Alan Alda is a legend. He's a freaking legend. The guy.
Wait, what was his nickname?
Hawkeye is a character
Hawkeye.
he played, not his nickname.
MASH.
What, do you not know this?
You had never heard of Hawkeye?
I've never seen MASH.
You've never
Oh my
watched
God.
MASH?
Have you heard of the book The Last of the Mohicans?
I have.
The character, name in the book?
I'm going to guess it's Hawkeye.
I'm going to guess you haven't read it. It's all good.
Okay.
We're all good here. There's nothing to
Have
see
you
here,
seen
mister.
the movie at least?
There's a movie?
Oh, I can't even. Suicide is Painless.
Well, that's
the TV
MASH,
show.
But I was singing the Last of the Mohicans. Is what
Oh,
Well, you guys are
Daniel
killing it.
Day-Lewis.
You guys are killing it.
Ron, we appreciate it. We were
Not
gonna
only are
try-
we killing it, we are then going to pick the bones of the things we have killed and continue to
There you go.
spray
Feed
our
it to the
uric
vultures.
acid all over everything.
I thought his name was Bruce.
Mm.
Bruce Cassidy?
No.
Nope.
D-Lock,
It's
Butch-
David.
Are you
There's
like
also
Butch
a
Cassidy?
Sean Cassidy who played
That's right.
the Hardy Boy. He was
That's
handsome
right.
too. Very handsome.
It was rumored that David Cassidy had a little thing going with Shirley Jones on the Partridge Family.
His middle name is Bruce. How come I knew his middle name and not his first name?
Notably different from Bill Cassidy, who did cast the deciding vote to approve as the director of Health and Human Services, a guy who also loves roadkill as much as Vultures. That was yesterday.
Today old news. Sorry, Ron. But thank you. Keep doing the work of God. We need it.
Ron, thank you so much, as always.
It's always a pleasure, guys and gals. Take care.
That's right.
Just one gal.
Still just gal.
By the way, wrong S, but we're all good.
Did you guys catch Ron say Winders? He turned into a prospector there for a second. You got to get him away from the Winders. And I was like, oh.
He knows everything about everything.
He's the best. I said that
It's
3 times during that. And what? There's nothing we can throw at him.
You can throw him an alley-oop that's 50 feet in the sky, and he will dunk it.
Because he's so tall or because he knows so much?
Both.
He's that kind of presence. He looked a little like Scarface, though, today. He doesn't usually dress that way.
I love that look. Great look.
I want Ron to dress like that all of the time.
I feel like
with the white suit and the
chain.
I like how he was like, I was meeting the mayor. And it's like, of course, this is what the mayor of Miami should be met like.
Isn't there a hierarchy of who you're going to meet with and how you dress? If he were with the senator, I would think that he'd go a button up and maybe in a tie. If you go meet the president, you definitely wear a cravat. And if you meet like someone just in the city council, you can do a collared shirt with no jacket. I think that there's a hierarchy for dress code with who you're meeting.
What is the lowest rank of person that would make you wear a tie?
So I don't wear ties anymore. So I don't wear them to funerals.
Just
I don't wear them
rule?
to weddings. Yeah, I do not wear ties.
This is also a post-divorce.
No, it's post-Wall Street. And I moved to Florida and I changed the dress code with the Marlins.
Really?
I made everyone go and wear ties every day.
Ugh.
And someone said to me, you're going to live here.
Someone said to you, ugh.
Close.
You had to have immediately become the most hated person in the entire organization.
Logan Morrison was like, that's bullshit.
I wanted there to be a level of professionalism with all of our employees. And they said in Florida, here's the problem. And I was coming from Montreal and New York. They said, your first summer, it's not going to last for a week with you wearing a tie. And I didn't know. I'd never been here during the summer. And I changed the dress code summer number 1.
Well, David, let me ask you something. Was this universal, like baseball ops, everybody, or just...
Everybody. You're in the office.
Imagine if Dan made us wear a suit and tie every day to the office here.
David also mandated that fans wear suit and tie. That's why no one showed up.
Would you call that standard in baseball, or was that you? That was you putting your own little twist on it?
That was me trying to bring Wall Street to baseball.
That was you cosplaying as the New York Yankees.
No, but the Yankees don't.
No,
because,
it was not.
Because
actually, I mean, I like where you're trying to be funny, but no, it wasn't that.
Most sports franchises, the guys, at least in ops, maybe the other like marketing, whatever, but like for ops, everyone's wearing like team issued sweats or like the polo or whatever. Like that's what we wore every day.
Collared shirts, standard issue. Were you forced to pay for your collared shirts?
Hell no, man.
They gave them to you free?
The first day of training camp. Like you go down there, the equipment manager hands you this suitcase, like the duffel bag, the team issued duffel bag.
Of swag?
And it's just there. Because
Yikes.
Well, back then it was Adidas. Adidas was just sending us stuff. So it's like, okay, you get this. We got shoes. The shoes weren't cool shoes, but they were shoes. Like now they're Nike, and they're getting Tech Fleece, and they're getting Air Maxes. And I'm like, oh, you guys get a great deal. I used to get these ugly Adidas sneakers that I would never wear other than working out.
If we gave you free Le Batard merch from LeBatardAF.com, would you wear it every day on the show?
Absolutely.
If we had the uniform, that it would be Le Batard, different merch from the merch store.
Maybe like 12% of my wardrobe as far as T-shirts and stuff is stuff that I bought. It's all free stuff. It's all
12%, huh?
No, but I'm asking for this show.
Yeah, if you gave
Would you wear if we had a dress
code?
Would
the shirts be made by Robert Graham?
No, they'd be available on LeBatardAF.com, Pablo. But I'm asking.
I liked having a uniform, but it has to be comfortable.
No, but you get to choose. You'd get to choose. It would be issued by the company, and you would get to choose anything on the website, and you'd have
It's a little casual. I feel like I'm also the only person here that actually dresses nice.
I was gonna say, yep, sign me up. I'm offended by that.
And Jer Bear wears the occasional nice cardigan. I will give him credit for that.
Today's going with the Dan look.
Yeah, just got a T-shirt.
I'd like to think about that. Because I'd like to do more promotion, not just during the video breaks. I'd like us to wear what we want our audience to
For sure. If I got free merch, I would wear the free. This is free. I'm wearing free merch right now. Not from Le Batard, but I'm wearing merch. I wear. And look, where's my camera? If you have a business and you want to promote it, just send me merch. I'll wear it. Now, make sure it doesn't look ugly, but like if it looks good.
You hear that, Viore?
Yeah, here you go. I'll wear it. I'll wear anything.
I mean, for what it's worth, David, I asked you once for a free shirt of my own with my own face on it, and your response to that was no, and the only reason we have it is because of Dan, not your face, so you don't get anything for free.
Yes.
And I was trying to do what it is that you're asking right now.
No,
so.
I agree, but as we're looking toward the future, we're trying to think of new things, new ways to promote what we're doing. And I agree that I said that to you, and I don't want to apologize. I want to say that I've evolved.
All right.
And I'm looking at...
You've evolved
evolution.
into
Apology
accepted.
Evolution
I'm
accepted.
sorry.
So, Jeremy, this is his version of getting rid of the tie.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Wait. I'm not sorry. The past version of me that I no longer am is sorry. But me, David Samson, have evolved.
That is what he said.
That
yeah.
past version doesn't apologize either, though.
But you know what? Credit for evolving, because some people don't
trying
evolve.
to evolve.
I'm
I'm
pro
trying to be better.
evolution.
I appreciate it.
Listen, and I'm not perfect. I was not perfect in my last life. I'm not perfect right now in what I'm doing. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to help the company.
You're trying to make us dress like a breakdancing squad. Like, why are we all wearing the same stuff?
Have you ever been to an NBA game? Have you looked at the bench of an NBA game recently?
I don't want to wear the same thing Dan Le Batard's wearing.
Let me tell you right now.
Chris Cody.
I love what's happened. There's some people.
There's 12 guys wearing the same exact thing.
I love it. There are people complaining like, I miss the days. I'm like, no, because the coach who makes $7 million a year and has a deal with the local tailor
and copyrighted three-peat.
He gets to wear the nice stuff, and then everybody else has to scrounge up whatever they got from
and
Men's
be Doug
Warehouse.
Moe.
Yeah, hell no, man. I like nice
You know
and
what I
clean.
mean? By that explanation, like, you and Dan should be dressing the nicest of all of us. You're our executives that make the most money.
Our money.
I don't feel I don't. I dress nicely for every show when I'm in New York. I wear a blazer and shirt for every Nothing Personal.
And shorts.
And for every Le Batard.
Cargo shorts and sandals.
Yeah.
You do see what I am every Wednesday. I'm in a blazer.
Thong sandals.
What are they?
Sandals.
They're thongs. I call them thongs.
I wish you wouldn't.
Thanks to the memories.
That's what the name
I
of the
guess
shoes.
we are wearing the same thing to work.
And now I need a David parody of thong, to thong, thong, thong.
Oh, Jeremy, get on it.
Not that one.
Why not?
But it's about sandals.
All right. Let me get to work.
Speaking,
drawing the line.
Jeremy, here's the word for you. Sandalous.
Go. Sandalous.
Yeah, see?
oh, Dominique's texting me that I need to take control of the show again. Can we bring it back to this Nico Harrison thing for a second? Because we're talking about what we're supposed to call things. And I feel like, on the internet, people have misinterpreted something that was reported by Ethan Strauss at ESPN in the most clicked article on ESPN.com at the time.
Is this the Nike Steph Curry presentation?
Yes.
What is the truth here?
So people online have been saying that Nico Harrison called Steph Seth.
He did not.
And that's not what the story is.
No.
Amin, can you help clarify what the actual story is? Because it's one of the great stories in sports business that now comes back because Nico Harrison is the aforementioned formerly anonymous guy who is now a thing that everybody has an opinion on.
Right. So, first of all, this is the most read article in the history of ESPN. More than Deflategate, more than Tiger Woods crashing his car on Thanksgiving, more than any of those things. This was the most read article in the history of ESPN.com. Ethan Strauss wrote it, and it's
2016.
In 2016, it's the example I bring up when I say the difference between news and transactions. If you tell me, Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers, and I didn't get a newsbreaker, Shams doesn't report it, I don't see it on SportsCenter, and there's no press release, and the agent doesn't say anything, and the player doesn't go into social media, how would I know that it happened? When I turn on a Laker game, it's like, hey, what's Luka Doncic doing there? That's how I know. So it's not news. I was going to find out one way or another. To me, news is stuff that we never were going to find out. When we found out that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, hey, they actually hate each other, right? Because of the great reporting of Seth Wickersham. That's news, right?
Right. There is something to the idea of when news is breaking, it'd be nice if it was breaking out of a thing that wanted to keep it contained.
Exactly. Stuff that were it not for the work of these intrepid journalists, we would never know. So Steph Curry goes from Nike to Under Armour, and everyone says, oh, that happens all the time. Upstart company comes in, bunch of money, stock options, whatever, and guys make the switch. But then Ethan wrote about how that came about. And it's a long story. It starts with Kent Bazemore, of all people, who's a virtual unknown NBA player.
But a friend of Steph Curry's.
A friend of Steph Curry.
And an Under Armour client.
Yes, and he's the one that led the recruiting pretty much to bring him over. But the nail in the coffin was when Nike was presenting its kind of, hey, this is our vision for your sneaker and your brand.
Yeah, Nike had to argue that Steph should stay with Nike.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in August, Amin, the second floor of the Oakland Marriott.
Yep.
Beneath the practice facility of Golden State. And notably missing were the people who actually had power at Nike. So this guy, Lynn Merritt, who was a shadow. I mean, not even shadow. He's just known as the guy.
He's a power broker within Nike, right? Like, so David, you would know, right? If you walk into what you perceive to be a big meeting, and then you walk in and it's like, these are all subordinates. These aren't the big dogs.
You can't meet with non-decision makers.
It's a
big mistake that people make. If you have a decision maker against a non-decision maker, you have a waste of time.
So the person who was there running the meeting instead of Lynn Merritt, who was famed for being a power broker, a LeBron James advisor at the time, happens to have been Nico Harrison, who was a sports marketing director. That was his title. Not like Grand Poobah, but sports marketing director.
And I'll give Nico some grace here. It's not like he was like the intern or entry level.
No.
At this point, he's pretty elite within Nike. He's Kobe Bryant's rep. He's Anthony Davis. Like a lot of the big name guys.
He's not a schlepper.
Yeah, he's not a schlepper.
And he would go on to be the VP of North America basketball ops for Nike, but he was not the number one guy.
He was not the number one guy. He was not the VP at the time. But also, I just want to make sure he was not like the entry level guy.
He wasn't the intern.
Yeah.
It wasn't Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
And
anyway, keep going.
And so the meeting begins, Amin.
And he mispronounced his name.
Yeah, so
that's what it was.
So the thing, again, Nico is running the meeting, but the reporting is, and this is according to one of the unafraid people who ended up being a source for Ethan, a meaningful source who was in the room, Del Curry, Steph's dad, who said that one Nike official accidentally addressed Steph as Stephen Curry.
Yep.
Stephen Curry. Not his actual name, but the mispronunciation. So the meeting begins with them mispronouncing the name of the person they are recruiting. Not great.
It's not going to end well.
That's the part where I couldn't remember, but I don't think Nico was the guy that mispronounced.
He's not credited as the guy who accidentally addressed him as such.
But people have taken that story out of context and turned it into Nico Harrison.
Which people now?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Why are we telling this now?
Because
8 years
it's
later.
become,
9
because
years.
of Nico Harrison being the guy who was, again, credited and discredited with the Luka Doncic trade, erasing the owners of the team, incidentally. He's credited as the guy who called Steph Seth. But the funnier part of the
Maybe
meeting...
Seth was there.
That's irrelevant to what we're doing.
Going.
The funnier part of the meeting, though, David, which I think you might appreciate, is that this meeting that was, again, run by Nico Harrison, right? So what does he get discredited for here? Maybe it's the fact that the meeting has a PowerPoint presentation, and the PowerPoint presentation is clearly for Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
His name is left on there by accident because they're repurposing a thing for someone that they actually cared more about, for this guy that they're basically doing the theater of caring about. And that is an incredible thing.
I've seen that a million times. Have you guys not? When you're in sales, I got resumes sent to me many times saying it is really be my honor to work for the Rangers.
Red Sox?
Because it's someone who forgot
I've gotten resumes like that too. I was working at SB Nation. It was like, I'd love to join Bleacher Report, and we immediately threw them out.
Immediately.
Yep.
Any spelling mistake, put a P in my name.
Or there was one that was like, "Dear Sirs," and I was like,
out.
I once threw one out. Well, actually, I didn't throw it out. I almost framed it. I kept it in my desk. But he said his opening line was, I'll never forget this, "I am writing to you on the advice of Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra." And I said, I've never spoken to either of these guys in my life. You're telling me the things. You're going to
reach out to Amin.
Reach out to Amin Hassan. He's the guy. I'm like, get the. But then I was like, I threw it away. Then I was like, no, I'm keeping this one because it was just so ridiculous. Who knew 10 years later I'd be on speaking terms with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra? Yeah. Joke's on me, I guess.
No, the joke's on him for calling you 10 years too early and not getting a job. The reason why he went to Under Armour has nothing to do with Kevin Durant, has the misname or the mispronunciation or the fact that it was Nico instead of Phil Knight. Yeah. It's simply what Under Armour was doing back then is they were doing irresponsible deals. And startup companies, And One did this a bunch of times. There's a bunch of companies.
Oh, And One. Oh, speaking of merch, I'd love to wear. No, it's just old enough to be in my sweet spot.
But David, yes, except that one was the one that was the right deal. Like, you're right, but that one, like a broken clock.
It turns out
they hit perfectly on that one. And you know who else hit perfectly on that one? Kent Bazemore, who's rich beyond everyone's wildest dreams now because of he had Under Armour stock.
Yes, because Steph Curry and that shoe became, if not next to Kyrie Irving's shoe, the most popular shoe among young people.
It was the number one selling basketball sneaker, like for the first.
It was a sensation.
For Under Armour.
Yes.
No. The top selling basketball sneaker,
including Air Jordan,
including Jordans, because it was all these youth teams. Under Armour was sponsored.
Oh, this was, again, going back to the idea of dynasties and villainy, this was the Warriors at their heyday.
Wrists hit right at the peak, and then the Steph Curry 2s came out, and that's where it kind of...
I know.
Right, their stock was doing really well in the mid-2010s, but it's not doing so hot anymore.
So that, to me, is what I wanted to mention, is that you can get all the players and get all the excitement and have the great press conferences, but if you speak to Kevin Plank or others who own Under Armour stock, they're despondent beyond repair.
Well, yeah, if you look at the curve, 2021 peak, and then it's been a lot of valley.
And that's 4 years later, and the market has been going up until the tariffs, and till the tariffs started and then disappeared and the market rebounded, which is ripe for insider information. But
I've been thinking the same thing. I'm
like, God, don't kid yourself.
I can't.
You got to buy the dips when they dip because of something Trump does. You buy that dip, buy, because he's just making it up.
Except
as he goes
if this is finally it.
No,
this is not legal
advice.
This is not investment advice, obviously. But Jessica, you can't think that when you're doing something that this is
I'm not playing the market daily like that.
To
David,
quote an And One shirt, grab a notebook. You're about to be schooled.
Whoa!
That's very good.
Speaking of signature shoes, though, Asia Wilson's signature shoe is coming out in May, and it looks phenomenal.
Can I say?
Sure.
Yes.
Did Nike drop the ball?
On what?
On waiting?
A May release?
Like it should be out now?
All-Star Weekend.
The shoe does look good, if we can show that.
I think the league, the first game, though, is May, so it's going to be right when the WNBA
the start of the WNBA season. All-Star Weekend of what? The NBA?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's based on the WNBA season.
But I know, it's a high-profile kind of marketing. It's like the Super Bowl.
Her jersey was just retired this past weekend, too. Yeah. So there's... It doesn't really matter when they launch.
Regardless
of
what
I feel like
season,
there's a lot of hype around the shoe.
Regardless of what season we're talking about, WNBA, NBA, you should get Game Time.
Oh.
Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. What time is it, Jeremy?
Game time?
Thank you, David.
I feel like it'll be really cool when she walks out on the court for the Aces' first game in the shoe, and then it goes on sale. And all the other stuff that they're releasing with it, I want all of it.
Is the Bam stuff because of the shoe? Am I mixing stories?
Okay, so her jersey was retired at South Carolina this past weekend, and that's where the video was of her talking about Bam that some are calling a hard launch. But
it's a hard launch.
Let's listen to this.
I disagree, but
Let's
we'll listen.
Good EPing.
Tell for ourselves.
I wouldn't be who I am today without the love, support, and sacrifices of so many people. And what a blessing to have those most special to me courtside today, especially my favorite Olympian from out of town.
Oh,
come on.
God.
It's a little shimmy.
Wait a minute.
She Chris Cody.
Hold on.
Asia Wilson, Chris Cody.
Jessica, if it were any harder of a launch, she'd be pregnant.
That's what I'm saying.
No, a hard launch is you don't post anything on social media for 2 years, and then all of a sudden you post a picture and you're wearing an engagement ring. That's a hard launch. We already know that there's obviously something going on with her and Bam. And the camera, whoever the camera person is, I know they didn't see this coming, but you gotta cut to Bam.
You gotta have a Bam cam the whole time?
Bam cam, thank you, ma'am. Absolutely.
So excuse me, they've been dating a long time. This was not news. The rumor had been out.
Well, this is the whole thing, the degrees of launch.
Is she launching it coincidentally with the shoe and with the announcement of the shoe?
Well, that's what everyone was saying, that Bam needs to wear the shoe now.
This is what I was trying to ascertain. Because that would be a PR strategy, a business strategy to have the shoe announced, to have the relationship announced, to have Bam wear the shoe. It would be a...
They're just going to keep doing stuff like this and like not let us see any canoodling. That's my point.
That's my thing with the...
Canoodle is a hard launch.
I agree. We have not seen them even... so yes, they've been in the same photograph together, but it's been sort of in that paparazzi way, which is a soft launch, if anything.
Were they holding hands?
That's
in
the
pairs.
thing. Were they holding hands, though?
Well, no, there was another.
Were they canoodling?
There was an event here. I think, was it
the mayor.
Udonis? Or, no,
I think it was the Dwayne Wade statue. Was it not? Where Asia
I
Wilson
thought it was something.
Yes, it was statue related.
She has been also like courtside at several Heat games throughout the season.
Or was it medal related when they got their medals?
I think it was when they got their medals. Several is understating it. Like there was a point. I found out because I'm like, why is Asia Wilson at every Heat game? And someone was like, "You idiot!" She's dating,
she's a big Duncan Robinson fan.
Oh,
I think it was an Olympics related, like Miami giving the key to the city thing.
They met in the
was
village?
The key to the city.
No,
Did they meet in the Olympic Village?
It was before the Olympics.
Yeah, they were together before that.
Oh.
Or at least that's what
Is that a
the
report,
sleuths on the
Jeremy?
internet
Is that a Miami
say.
Heat report from you?
That is not an exclusive report
Wait,
from me.
yeah,
That
Jeremy,
is not what I'm saying.
you can get the gossip on this.
I will confirm.
not reporting that.
I will confirm to you. They were dating well before the Olympics.
I don't know what you're confirming because there was no report.
That's an Amin report, not a Jeremy
That's
report.
an Amin report.
That's an Amin report.
Dude, Heat played at the Suns in Phoenix. I'm taking my kid to go meet Jason Jackson. And then Asia Wilson was like, "Oh, take a picture of Asia Wilson." And I'm like, "Why is Asia Wilson here?" But I'm like, Vegas, Phoenix, it's close
sweet
enough.
summer child.
Dude, it took so many times. I felt like Dan finding out that John Amici was gay, right? Like, what do you mean? It's like you're going to gay bars with them and stuff, and Dan still doesn't get it.
Do you say to your kid when you're bringing the kid to the game, cut? Like went to meet? Photo. Are you directing everything?
No, not for that. But I just said, that's cool. You should get a picture of Asia Wilson. Oh, yeah. Okay. But we do when we're watching the games. You see how he cut? See there, right there? We do that a lot.
I would draft Asia Wilson and Bam Adebayo's child right now.
That kid's not going to play basketball.
At the end of every show that I want to do this week, I want to give ourselves awards. We did this last summer. Dominique inaugurated it. Juju was around for some of it. Juju remembers this game. I hope you guys remember this game. Chris, do you remember how to play this game?
I do. I'm just trying to. I wish you would have said this before we started, so I could have started thinking what the awards were going to be.
Yeah, why'd you?
So I want to give an award to Chris Cody for being the best executive producer of the week.
Thank you. The only one, but
you don't have to point.
That's not on the statue. You can just accept it. Who else wants to give an award?
I'd like to give an award to Jeremy for lasting the entire show without bringing up perhaps the juiciest Miami Heat rumor ever.
Oh, are we
ever?
Are we talking about?
Stop! You're gonna lose the award.
It's not ever.
Thank you, Jess, for knowing how to play the game.
It's pretty juicy.
It's not ever.
I want to give an award to Dan Le Batard for picking maybe the worst week to not be in Miami based on the previously mentioned rumor, which we're not saying.
Just some rumors.
Dude, you know how, look, there's so much stuff that's happening that I can just imagine Dan disintegrating under the stress of not being able to talk about it. Forget about this juicy rumor that we're not going to address right now. Do you know that Dennis Schroeder said that it's kind of like slavery? He compared like players getting traded to slavery. And as soon as I saw that headline, I swear to God.
Hold on. I'd like to give Amin El-Hassan the award for guy who got fooled by a fake headline on the internet.
Was it?
Good job, Amin. Congrats.
Oh, I got sentled.
Yeah, you got fooled.
I'd like to give an award to American Airlines for having jets that go so fast we can hear them deep inside the Elser.
Are we sure those are jets? Juju, there have been sounds here in the air ducts that we're not sure what they are exactly. You have been spared that. Do you have an award you'd like to give us? Or yourself, honestly?
Just an award for everybody being awesome. The Awesome Award. Everybody wins.
How about us?
That's a good one.
Morale.
I have an award for Pablo for starting the show with an interesting and new take on the Luka Doncic trade. That's not sarcasm. It was good job.
Good job. Go, Pablo.
It's been 3 days and we
accept.
Juju.
I'd like to give an award for false corrections to Pablo Torre because this quote is according to NBC Sports Bay Area. It's a real quote. It's not Sentinel.
Good job, Pablo.
I'd like to give an award to the guy who got betrayed by the video team or whatever the fuck just happened by getting in my ear with wrong information.
Mally, classic Mally. Clally.
Wow.
Mally took a huge shit earlier.
Okay, back to what you were saying, because I saw that quote too, and I thought it was real, and I was really embarrassed for 10 seconds, and now I'm unembarrassed. But I also thought, Dan, if he were here,
Dude, at least an hour and a half, right?
Absolutely.
At least an hour. All I could think of is Dan calling Elise, his assistant, and saying, get me on a flight back. Maybe that's him right now.
I think he's still hungry. That's just his stomach again. Juju, do you have any experience? You've stayed at the Elster a bunch of times with the vultures flying around.
Not. I've been blessed to not see vultures on the balcony. You feel me? They always do put me up on the 1,000th floor. That is a fact. And the balconies are this narrow. So David
narrow.
is right.
No room for a chair out there.
Oh, this reminds me of an award I would like to give Jess. Juju and I can co-present this to Jess for being the true person that a vulture would probably fly away with if they were picking one of us to actually.
Wow.
Although I am taller than 65 inches.
Nope.
By a lot?
Yeah. If you're 65 inches, then yes.
Hey, Juju, what did the crowd in the YouTube chat think of the show today?
Man, the crowd is always being the crowd, man. Salute to the audience, the wonderful audience. GPZBOY, sir?
Oh, keep going. I was just afraid of what GPZOY was about to say.
He says, a tucked-in polo shirt with shorts is wild. Please, someone tell Samson. And so consider this your notification.
Good award. The tucked-in polo shirt is wild award.
We need to give David an award. What award should
I'm not award worthy.
I'll give him an award for only making the show awkward like twice. Hey!
All right.
New personal best.
Great show.
I'd like to give David Sampson the Best Beard Award on the show.
That's a good-looking beard.
Great
man.
beard.
Thank you. I mean, compared to Amin, I feel like it's an easy one.
I show up every day. What's up? Consistency, that doesn't matter?
It's the whole lip and tooth and the way you have a few gray hairs scattered around. It's very tough for me to...
Salt and pepper's a good thing.
That's not salt and pepper.
It's a lot of pepper.
It's mostly pepper with like a kernel of salt.
Nice, delicious. El Lobo Malo says, Samson looks like the manager for the towel inventory at your local water park.
Oh, my God.
I take all this as a compliment. I don't want to appear stuffy to anybody.
I'm going to clap it up for that.
How many?
Thank
2,
you.
3? How many do you need?
No, I'm good now. But the reason I tuck in...
I meant towels.
No. Do you know why you tuck in your shirt, Juju? You never tuck in?
Yes, sir. I tuck my shirts in, especially when I'm in professional environments.
Right. This is a professional environment. You're tucked in,
This
Jessica.
shirt only comes tucked. It's a bodysuit. It takes a very long time for me to pee now.
No wonder the break was so long.
It was a good stream, too.
That was Mally.
Also, happy Black History Month. The NFL is reportedly removing the End Racism logo from the Super Bowl end zone after the White House announced that President Donald Trump will attend on Sunday.
Award to the NFL for solving racism.
Yes.
They
did it.
Now, the NFL denied it, just so we're keeping our facts straight. The NFL denied.
We'd like to
through
award
their
the
spokesman.
NFL the least plausible denial award.
It's unreal.
Good job, NFL.
They said, oh, no, it had nothing to do with Trump becoming the first ever sitting president to attend a Super Bowl game, which he is. And then all of a sudden, the End Racism gets removed, and the NFL said, no, this was always the plan.
Surely a coincidence.
I'd like to give David Sampson the isn't understanding the game entirely because we just gave an award for that was implied.
Woo!
Award.
I'd like to also give an award to Amin Hassan's family for understanding you can't take those files with you on the bus, so use them.
Good job.
5 seconds to go.
I mean, he's right.
Just dribble the ball. Let him dribble the ball out. We're done.
Juju, was Asia Wilson a hard launch? That was like a medium soft launch, right?
Right, and oh my goodness, those shoes are incredible. Salute to Asia Wilson for dropping those shoes. They're dropping this May, the pink Nikes. Oh man, I'm overwhelmed because I think that those shoes are gonna be just as popular as Sabrina Ionescu's shoes, which are worn all over the NBA right now.
Well, which are like the Sabrinas are the Kobe's, right? They got repackaged as the Sabrinas, basically.
Yeah, they awesome, bro. They fire.
Oh, this is Asia's. Yeah, this
isn't the one that came out that she promoted yesterday.
I was gonna say that's not the one that
the one that I saw.
Award for the video team.
Good job, video.
Yes, sir.
Second best shoe possible. Good job, guys. There's only 2 options, 50-50. Am I
right? They're tired.
Also, I'd like to award the Sam Boselli Award to Jaguars for hiring Tony Boselli as their new executive vice president.
Wow.
Good job, Jags.
I was worried about that award for like the first couple syllables, and then I went with it.
You heard the same thing I heard. That's it.
I think I'd like to award all of us the We Made It to the End of the Show award.
Yeah, how about us?
Hey, way to go, team.
See you tomorrow, everyone.
See you again tomorrow.
Kevin Durant!
From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and a great-tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. You know, 2024 had its ups, had its downs, had a lot of moments in it. For me, many of those moments, I had a Miller Lite right there by my side. I supplemented my time by making it a Miller time. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Miller Lite has taste you know you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just a great beer for people who love beer. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and it has simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and that iconic golden color. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.